Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games and day 8 of my 30-day Space Wolves Army Challenge. And now we're over a quarter of the way through the challenge and things are really starting to get moving now. I managed to get the bases finished, started painting the wolves and got a few other bits ready for priming. And so yeah, really good day. So let's have a look at the table, see where we're at, and then I'll run through exactly what I got up to during the challenge today. So here's everything all on the table now, and it's starting to get a lot neater. A lot of the messy jobs have been done, so it's really nice to have everything neat and tidy on the table. So I'm really getting through all the gluing now. That's pretty much done. I've only got a few more bits to get primed, and things are even starting to get finished. So this section, nothing's really happened here. Just got a bit more organised and put everything that's got to be painted and hasn't been painted at all yet on this front section. And then on the back, I've got on the far left some stuff to be primed, and then the bases have been finished, and I've also done the dry brushing on the wolves as well, the Fenrisian wolves, the wolves for the cavalry as well. So yeah, really happy with that progress. And here are the wolves at the paint table. So I did like a dry brush with 4 different coloured paints, which you'll see in the video when I finish them. And then the bases as well. So lots of work on the bases today. It finally dried. So I took that mix of 3 parts contrast medium and 1 part Talisar blue, and then gave that a really good shake together. And I didn't want to spill it, so I thought I'd grab a bit of foam and I'll make a little pot holder for it. So I just grabbed my knife and then cut around it, made a hole, and then that's going to keep that from spilling, because the amount of times I've knocked over the shades is just ridiculous. And it always seems to be Agrax Earthshade for some reason. And so I thought I don't want to make that mistake again here. So yeah, just cut this hole out, pop the little bit out of the middle, just like that. There it goes. And then I can put the paint pot in, and then that's not going to go anywhere then. So I was determined not to have any spillages, especially when I've got so much to do. So that fits in nice and snug. That isn't going anywhere. And I just put a bit more pressure on it to make sure it sat in there and wasn't going to come out at all. And I've sprayed all the bases once they dried, put a little bit of tape in that cross section for the Stormfang, and then it was, once that prime and dried, it was time to get a nice soft brush and then take that Talisar blue mix and go over it all. Little tip I saw off Guerrilla Miniature Games was just to put the lid from the paintbrush in there, and that keeps the lid of the paint open. So I thought that was cool. So maybe you haven't seen that, maybe you probably have, but I thought I'd share it anyway. And then I'm going to put a nice coat of this all over, really working it in. And it's surprising with this texture paste that's gone on, just how much surface area has been created. So a fair amount of paint has been used up here doing these. So I just kept going until that was all done. Let's do a time lapse so you can see it all unfolding. It's so cool watching these time lapses. I love seeing it. It wasn't so cool painting it all. It took me ages, but great to see it now coming together like this. I can't wait to do a video at the end of this challenge, going through every stage and just reflecting on it. I think that's going to be really fun. But then once that dried, I did some dry brushing, and I used the Vallejo white, they're like a brilliant white. So I think that would work really nicely. Popped some in a lid, and then I wanted to take a big brush. I didn't want to mess around with this, so I got this pretty hefty makeup brush here. It's a pretty chunky one, and I thought, let's see if that'll work for going over all this. And so yeah, I just put some in the brush and then just worked it into the cardboard box that all the bases were being kept in. So just got off as much paint as I could, and I was going to see if this would work for dry brushing. As it stands, it didn't work all that great, and you'll see later I had to just do some modifications to the brush. And so yeah, used a lot of paint up doing it like this. And so I think that whole paint I just squirted out did 4 bases this size, so that wasn't ideal really. So I think the brush was just spanned out a little bit too much, but I mean it did the job. It got it done fairly well, but I thought I needed to make that brush a bit tighter. So I grabbed a little cable tie and then put that around the brushes, and that bunched them up and made it a lot better. There was a lot more like roughness to the brush, so that helped me actually and made this stage a whole lot quicker. And there you go, they're all painted up. I painted all the rims, gave the rims 2 coats, and previously I did that Thunderhawk blue, I love that colour, all around the base, but I wanted something a bit brighter that's going to match with the ice board I want to make, and so I went for this Leia Lothern blue colour, and I think that worked really nicely. And then for the wolves, I've done all the dry brushing now. May do one other layer just to brighten it up a little bit. But first of all, I put a little bit of a blue contrast paint on there, Leviathan blue, just to darken the very tip of the scruff there. So I put a little coat of that on there, just in like a little stripe, and then I started layering up from the bottom with the Wraithbone paint, and I'm just dry brushing light to dark. Usually I dry brush dark to light, but for this I want those dark colours to layer over the light, so I'm going with Wraithbone first and then going through all the different like bluey greys until I get to the darker one, and then I blend in that darker colour into that top bit that we painted with the stripe there. So yeah, just nice and easy technique, nothing fancy here, and I really like the idea of just going with grey wolves. I thought about doing some brown, some black, some grey, but I want that blue greyness to come through, and I think it looks awesome when they're all in a big pack. And then once I get all the eyes and all the other little bits finished, these are going to look great just running across the battlefield, and you can see all the movement in the different poses. It just looks awesome. Of course, not everything goes to plan. When I was doing this guy, the Cyber Wolf, which is the fine cast one, the leg snapped and it's only held up by that little piece on the leg. So I think I'm going to have to drill through, put some like a paperclip, piece of a paperclip through it, and then glue that leg back on, and that'll be nice and sturdy then. So I think things are going to break. It's going to happen with so many models. You're going to get some mishaps for sure. But apart from that, everything's really cool, really happy. I've just got to finish the wolves, get those eyes painted a nice brilliant blue colour, finish all the little metallic parts on there, the saddle as well. And then once I glue it to the base, I'll put a bit of snow around the feet and also on the base just to add a bit more texture to it. And then we should be good to go. But that blue eye is going to match the blue on the rim, so it's going to be really bright and like a brilliant icy blue. So looking forward to getting that done. It'll really bring them to life. I also glued together the rhinos, and I put a little bit of tape in that hole just underneath so it doesn't go in and ruin the work I did on the little control panels yesterday. So they're ready to prime. And then I've also got these two that came in the Imperium collection, these cargos, so I'm going to paint them in a Space Wolf theme as well. And then we've got the Storm Wolf. This is all now ready to spray as well. So I might head down. I was going to go today, but I didn't in the end. So I think I'll go down the shop tomorrow and get a spray can and then get this finished. And then also I've got Logan Grimnar to sort out. You can see on the model there on the left, on the sled, there's a little hole that they put in there. And that coincides with where a little lump on his foot would go. And so that can hold him in place. But I want him to go in there and also stand on a base. So I'm going to pop a little magnet in this little hole that you can see up close now. And then I'll also put a little magnet on his feet and then a magnet on the base as well. So then we can just pop him on and off the sled, use him as because there's two data sheets for him in the book. You can have a data sheet for him without the sled and a data sheet for him with the sled. So I just want to have those two options. But I love this model. It's a bit crazy, a bit wacky, but I think it's just really cool. And I think once it gets painted up, it's going to look awesome. So yeah, really looking forward to getting this painted. But that's the last fiddly bit that I've got to really work on, and just magnetising this guy so I have those options. Thanks for all your feedback for the crows as well. I put them on the 40mm bases so they match the same bases as those Fenrisian wolves. I think these are going to be really fun to play. And I got this picture from Warhammer community site with all the crows, wolves and the space wolves around. I think this really sets the scene for the sort of vibe I want to create with the army. And I love the layout there. I can imagine building that within that like icy fortress I want to build. And those wolves, the statues with the wings, just look crazy good. I also found this image. I couldn't find who created it though, but I've got a link where you can download it and just use it for your desktop if you want to. So there's a few sites that have got it like on there. So yeah, I'll put a link to it because I think it's a great picture. And if you're into the Space Wolves, looks awesome on the computer screen. So tomorrow I'm definitely going to work on these crows. I think I can get them finished. Apart from the base, I'll just no, I think I could get the base done too, because it just needs painting. So yeah, I'd like to get these finished tomorrow. I may even do something completely different and paint these rune stones up that I'll be using for the command token. So yeah, I might do that. And then I'm also thinking how to approach this. I've never painted a vehicle before, and so from what I've seen, it just seems like it's a solid colour with maybe a little bit of wash just going down like in the lines where all the different contours of the model and the different bits overlap, and then just do a highlight. But if you've got any tips for me on how to paint these rhinos and predators, then I'd love to hear it. But I'm thinking I'm going to go nice and simple, but I want it to look weathered and like dirty it up a bit. But I think the main way I'm going to paint it is with solid colour, pin like pinstripe, I don't know if that's the word, like a shade, like an Agrax Earth shade within all the lines and recesses, and then just do a highlight over the top and then weather it. But let me know what you think about that. Is that a good idea or not? So there we go. Some progress has been made and we're really starting to get motoring along now. Got 22 days left to go, so I think it's definitely on. Could get this done within the time frame, but I still want to get that fortress built and I haven't even started it yet. And so yeah, so I want to include that in this challenge, and maybe even a board to play them on. It would be great if I can get that done in time too. I'm just going to make that myself out of some like chipboard maybe, and put a frame around it and have it so it's a dedicated board for the Space Wolves to play on. Maybe do it in a couple of bits so it's easy to transport. But I think that would be really fun, and I want it to match those bases, so really bright ice blue, have the fortress at the end, maybe some other scenery to create that fjord effect. I think would just be awesome. It looks so cool on the table and it'd be great fun to play with. So there we go. But that's where we're at today. Tomorrow I'm really looking forward to getting those crows painted, getting the bases done, finishing the wolves, getting the bases done on those wolves, and I think I could probably get those crows completely finished tomorrow, get the bases done for the wolves, and maybe even start painting some other pieces as well. So that could be really good progress if I can get that done. Thanks again for following along, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video. All different things really going on today, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. And please like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well so you can join me next time here on Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'd like to say a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these daily videos possible, and if you're interested in joining the community, it'd be awesome to see you there, and I'll put a link for that in the description down below.